Pressure is not the enemy of peace. It is the sculptor of strength, shaping us into who we are meant to become. And that is the thought for today. Welcome to 7 Good Minutes. I'm Clyde Lee Dennis. Thanks for joining me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. In today's episode of 7 Good Minutes, we talk about transforming life's pressure into purposeful action today. Enjoy. The weight on your shoulders feels real, doesn't it? That mounting pressure from deadlines, expectations, responsibilities that seem to multiply faster than you can handle them. You wake up feeling like you're already behind, like the world is demanding more from you than you have to give. But what if I told you that this pressure you're feeling isn't your enemy? It's actually raw material for something extraordinary? By the end of this episode, you'll understand how to transform the pressure in your life from a source of overwhelm into a catalyst for purposeful, meaningful action that aligns with who you truly want to become. Pressure is one of the most misunderstood forces in human experience. We've been conditioned to see it as something negative, something to avoid or escape from. But pressure is simply energy, concentrated, focused energy that's looking for direction. Think about how diamonds are formed. They don't emerge from comfort and ease. They're created when carbon is subjected to intense pressure and heat deep within the earth. The pressure doesn't destroy the carbon, it transforms it into something precious and enduring. The same principle applies to your life. The pressure you're feeling right now isn't a sign that something is wrong with you or your circumstances. It's a sign that you're being called to grow, to step into a larger version of yourself, to create something meaningful from the raw materials of your experience. But here's where most people get stuck. They try to eliminate the pressure instead of learning how to work with it. They seek comfort, avoid challenges, and wonder why their lives feel stagnant and unfulfilling. The truth is, a life without pressure is a life without growth. The key isn't to escape pressure, it's to transform it into purposeful action. So how do you make this transformation? It starts with changing your relationship to the pressure itself. Instead of seeing it as something happening to you, begin to see it as information. What is this pressure trying to tell you? What area of your life is calling for attention, growth, or change? Maybe the pressure at work is revealing that you've outgrown your current role and it's time to step into greater responsibility. Maybe the pressure in your relationships is showing you where you need to communicate more clearly or set healthier boundaries. Maybe the financial pressure you're feeling is inviting you to develop new skills or explore different opportunities. When you shift from resistance to curiosity, pressure becomes your teacher rather than your tormentor. You begin to ask better questions. Instead of, why is this happening to me? You ask, what is this pressure trying to create through me? Instead of, how can I make this stop? You ask, how can I channel this energy into something meaningful? The next step is to identify what truly matters to you. Pressure without purpose leads to burnout and resentment. But pressure aligned with purpose becomes fuel for extraordinary achievement. Take a moment to consider what you really care about. What kind of impact do you want to have? What legacy do you want to leave? What would make you feel proud when you look back on this chapter of your life? Once you're clear on your purpose, you can begin to channel the pressure you're feeling into actions that serve that purpose. The deadline that's stressing you out becomes an opportunity to demonstrate your commitment to excellence. The difficult conversation you've been avoiding becomes a chance to deepen a relationship that matters to you. The challenge that feels overwhelming becomes a stepping stone toward the person you're becoming. This doesn't mean the pressure disappears or that everything becomes easy. It means you're no longer fighting against the current of your life. You're learning to navigate it skillfully. You're transforming reactive stress into proactive purpose. Remember, every person who has ever accomplished something meaningful has learned to work with pressure rather than against it. They've discovered that the very forces that could crush them can also elevate them, depending on how they choose to respond. The pressure you're feeling right now isn't a mistake or a punishment. It's life's way of asking you to rise to the occasion, to discover strengths you didn't know you had, to create something beautiful from the challenges you're facing. When you learn to see pressure as a partner in your growth rather than an obstacle to your peace, everything changes. You don't have to carry this weight alone, and you don't have to let it crush you. you can learn to transform it into the very force that propels you toward the life you're meant to live. That does it for today's episode of 7 Good Minutes. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on the platform you're listening on. Until next time, let's be civil to one another out there. Thanks for listening. If today's episode resonated with you, I've created something to help you take the next small step. I've put together a series of better habit guides designed for people who feel behind in life and want a simple, practical reset without overwhelm. You can explore all of them at 7goodminutes.com/guides. That's 7goodminutes.com/guides.